What's up, everyone? My name is Maybelline Wong, and this is It's a She Thang, a one-day virtual event by Babel Dance in conjunction with International Women's Day. And this is Conversations with a Life Coach. And today I have with me Dhanya. Hi, Dhanya.
Hello, Maybelline. Thank you for having me. Really
Thank
happy to
you
be
for.
here.
I'm happy you're here. Okay, let's give a short introduction to Dhanya. Dhanya is a personal transformation coach. She is embodiment and integration specialist, completion process certified practitioner, an inner dance facilitator, and a spiritual dietitian. She is also the resident wellness and life coach at the KL Sky Clinic and creator of My Divine Journey, an experiential journey into the self. So, Danya, tell me a little bit more about you. I know I gave like a long explanation, but tell me more.
Well, let's see. I am a certified life coach. I have been doing this since 2012, but more officially as a business since 2016. I got into this practice pretty much because I was not well. I was struggling with, mental challenges. I was struggling with physical illness. And it was really a pathway for me to find my own way. I just wasn't finding the modern medicine and psychiatry and stuff like that working for me. So I had to find a different route. So what I do with life coaching is literally my path to wellness. So I embody what it is that I'm talking about. And, there are a lot of things that I'm still on my way, learning about, and it's a constant stage of discovery. But I'm doing what I love. I'm so passionate about it. And I take so much pride in also working with the people who work with me. Like specifically what it is that I focus on is the nutshell version. Okay, I'll give you a nutshell version.
Yes.
I help people understand themselves and their emotions better so that they can have better quality of relationships in their lives. Okay, because that's it. That's all we want. Life is literally made out of the relationships we have. It's the relationship with our career, right? It's the relationship that we have with our partner, our dog, our car, like our finances. Everything is relationship. But the fundamental relationship that we have is the relationship that we have between me and me. It's the relationship between you and you. It's yourself, and so my coaching is very centered on that. How to hack that relationship, how to find emotional intimacy within self. And then you naturally watch the different areas in your life, the relationships with your career, your body, everything starts to shift as a result of that fundamental shift. So that's my nutshell version.
That sounds great, because you always got to start with yourself first, right? Inwards first, and then everything on the outside will slowly come together.
Absolutely. It's just a reflection. It's literally a reflection. Like everybody you meet, every situation you're in, every job you're in, it's another way of getting to know yourself. That's all.
Yeah, so this brings me to when I contacted Dhanya, and I was like, hey, I really want to like empower a community and do like a self affirmation workshop with you, and we had this conversation, and Dhanya was saying that yeah, it's great, but it could also backfire if not used properly, because it's not for all. So can you tell us a little bit about what is the difference between self affirmation and self soothing?
Yes, thank you. I love this opportunity to be able to clarify this. There's nothing wrong with affirmations if you are energetically or emotionally truly feeling what it is that you are saying with your words. But in most cases, there is quite a big gap between what people are saying in terms of the words versus how they're actually feeling inside. So an example of this is, I am broke ass and I have like 5 ringgit in my bank account, but I'm saying to myself, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. When you do things like that, you are causing such a internal fracture, because number one, you're lying. You're lying to yourself, and your body is actually registering that this is not real, this is not true, right? So that's that lack of authenticity. And the more you do that, the further away your goal actually seems from you, right? So it's a lack of integrity, basically. So what you want to do with affirmations is you want to get yourself to a place where you are energetically really feeling that sense of wealth. So you might not necessarily say, you know, I'm a millionaire, but you could say, you know, I'm doing okay right now. So this is where I'm going to make that differentiation between the affirmation and self-soothing. So affirmation is just about those really high vibe positive statements, but you might not be there, right? So there's that gap, and that's what you're looking out for. With self-soothing, what it is you need to acknowledge exactly where you are. So if you don't have money right now, it is about looking at the reality, no BS, right? You're looking at the reality of your situation, but then having the skill to be able to talk yourself up in your emotional wellness, in vibration. So it's saying things like, okay, I don't really have money right now, but I'm so clear that this is something that I actually want, and I'm willing to put in the work for it. And every single day I'm learning more and more, and I'm interested in learning. So I'm going to YouTube channels. I know how to guide myself slowly. You know, I know there's a vision of myself where I can actually be financially free. So you see how you're moving yourself into a space of empowerment, but you're not BSing yourself. You know, that authentic journey is something your body is going to register as, yeah, I can do this. Absolutely. You know, and so that's the crucial, the fundamental shift has to occur in that this practice is not even like spiritual woo-woo stuff. It's literally science. There's a Professor Dr. Andrew Huberman, I believe, of Huberman Labs. So he literally studies the neuroscience behind what happens when somebody self-soothes, when somebody talks to themselves in a way that encourages forward momentum, right? And this is what all the top coaches that are doing with your NBA athletes and like, you know, your top performers and artists, like this is what their coaches are teaching them. It is the art and skill of being able to speak to yourself, that inner dialogue, shifting it in a profound way so that you become your own best friend, your own teacher, your own coach, your own parent that you might not have had. You know, that voice inside of you becomes so pervasive that it actually starts to change your neurochemistry. You start to regulate dopamine so that when dopamine starts to get regulated, you can really go for the breadth of time. You know, you can find yourself having momentum for longer periods because you've got that dopamine like sustaining you. You know, so that's kind of the pathway as to why it's so important to learn self-talk in it. Do you feel it's clear what I mean by that self-talk?
Yes, for sure. It definitely, I think that the word that stood out for me is authentic. It's like there's an authentic journey of getting there instead of just like, I'm here and I'm going to get here. So I'm just going to state this, and it will happen. But there's this like so many layers of work that you got to get to that stage. And I think that totally makes so much sense that your body would understand the authenticity, the realness of what you're saying to yourself. Yeah, that was clear. That makes sense.
Good. I mean, it's the same extension if you think about it, even in physical reality. You can't go from like here to like Johor in like a second. There's steps. There's steps. You know, you have to pass it in mileage, right? So the emotional body works very much in the same way, but you can shift it so much faster. I mean, from here to Johor, it's a while, but you can shift the way you think and the energy in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You know? So it's a very useful skill.
Do you also think that it's like important to acknowledge where you're at right now and then state where you want to be?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a really good question. I know a lot of people tend to want to just pretend like they're not living the life that they're living. But from it's again, I'm going to use that analogy of like you're a Grab driver, you want to go from here to Bangsa. How are you even going to know to get to Bangsa if you can't even acknowledge you are where you are? How would you get that map? There's no way to even have a map unless you look at exactly where you are. And that sends a signal to your body as well for self-acceptance. Because if you can't accept yourself when you have 5 ringgit, there's no way you're going to accept yourself when you have 1 million. You know, it's never going to be okay. You're never going to feel safe. It's never going to feel enough. So their mental, your experience, acknowledging yourself, making sure that you're speaking to yourself in a way that relaxes you. Everyone's walking around super constricted, and that's like resisting allowing. The more permission you can give yourself to be exactly where you are, state that you are, the easier it is to actually be able to navigate and move. Yeah.
Actually, speaking with you was the first time I've heard the word self-soothing, because I think it's what I've read has always been about like acknowledging, which is powerful, but self-soothing just has this it is like exactly that, like relaxing into the fact that you're just, this is where you at, I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. That was
Yeah,
very
it's what,
interesting.
like, I was.
Sorry, you were saying.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was saying that it was very it was a very interesting perspective for me to view with the word self-soothing versus self-affirmation. Yeah. Passing on to you. You were saying something.
Yeah. No, and you were really hitting on something so powerful there, because the reason so many of us have issues with, being healthy, emotionally healthy adults is because as children, we weren't able to receive that kind of self-soothing that we needed. We didn't learn how to self-soothe, and the adults in our life may not have been able to guide us, teach us on how to do that. So it's actually a missing experience in a developmental stage. That's why when we get like so reactive with our friends, we're like 3 years old again. It's like, yeah, you don't know why it's so upsetting, because the emotional body has not grown. It hasn't aged past, like, I think science is showing that part of that reptilian brain is like 3 to 5 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So every time you're having an emotional reaction, you're just a baby, you're just a child. So you have to learn how to speak to that part of you in a loving, soothing way. And the more you calm on a scientific level, the more you calm your nervous system down, the more you learn how to regulate. Guess what? Your neocortex will start to ignite. When you're in survival, this is not going to come on. But if you start to soothe yourself, then suddenly you've got the resources available to actually navigate, actually problem solve, right? And the added bonus is you're not living with, a critical, horrible person inside of your own being. You've got a partner there who's talking to you, guiding you.
Wow, that's so true, because I think a lot of us have relied on someone else to soothe us, right? As a kid and now as an adult. So we look for that external soothing, so to speak, but we don't have that all the time. We don't have our parents with us anymore. So you only have yourself. I mean, that is to me the most it was such a revelation and so sad at the same time, but it also makes me feel safe, like, you know what, you have yourself and that's all you have. But yeah, that is such an important point, that we didn't learn how to soothe ourselves.
So this is a process of reparenting yourself. It is a process of learning how to reparent yourself, because it's like you have little inner children inside of you and they need guidance, and you have to, it's true what you say, you have to be that one. Anytime you're looking for someone outside to do that for you, it's a trap. Run. It's a trap. It's honestly, you're setting yourself up to fail, because their job is not to take care of you. If they do, it's a bonus and great, but their job is to take care of them, like it's your job to take care of you. And when you take care of you, you're going to naturally take care of the people and things around you, but from a really powerful, solid space.
Yes. Wow. That's powerful. I love that. Whew. Needed a moment to register that. Like, I didn't think of that in that sense. Like, we didn't learn it as a kid to do that for ourselves, reparenting ourselves. I think that is that's a takeaway of this.
That's what we see in our therapy rooms, is just all these, so-called adults, but they're just little children. All the children come in and, they share what it is that didn't happen when they were 5 or 7 or 16, and who broke their heart, and, like, how their lollipop fell to the floor, and it's traumatic. It's traumatic, and you don't get the soothing let's say when you're younger and you lose that lollipop and you don't know how to deal with it. Fast forward 20 years, now you lose a boyfriend and you don't know how to deal with it. Right? It's the same root. The situation has changed, but the root, the accessibility, knowing how to get there, how to self-soothe is so important. You know, so that's the majority of the work I think a lot of, you know, psychologists and psychiatrists and coaches are all doing. It's just learning or guiding the person to be able to raise themselves, their own inner children.
Wow. Powerful stuff. Powerful. Speaking of guiding and questions, so we were talking about how what would the questions we would have as a community or as a person wherever you are right now, right? To what are the questions you would have if you were to meet a life coach? And I have a few questions from myself and from some of my friends and my students, and a lot of us are pretty much in the same, I would say, dilemma that we would like to ask you. So let's start off with the first question. Okay, the first one is change is one of the few constants in life, but with this world changing in such a accelerated pace, especially lately, right? How do we stay true? How do I stay true to who I am, but also being able to adapt successfully with these constant shifts?
Okay. Really good question. Really powerful question. So let's understand what changes to us as human beings. Okay. Let me start off by saying change is like breathing for you. It's the most natural thing. As a human being, you're always changing. Your cells are changing all the time. You don't even have the same liver and kidney that you had like 3 years ago now. Everything is changing, right? And we're not even aware of it. It's happening on such a subconscious level as well as conscious level, right? So the first thing you need to know is change is part of your nature. You're going to be able to thrive in change. So what happens when
Sorry, Dhanya, you're breaking up a little bit.
It's not feeling comfortable. Differently explore here. So things.
Sorry, Dhanya. Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, just tell me where I left off.
You were saying that change is a natural thing. It's happening all the time in the subconscious and conscious level. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, because it's so fundamental to who we are as human beings, and it's set up in our evolutionary process, right? In order for us to have a conflicted relationship change or with change, something else is going on there. Something else deeper is going on there. So what I would ask is the change that is happening working towards a greater vision for yourself and a purpose for yourself, or is it taking you away from that? So let me break this down. If your change is actually tied into a larger purpose for yourself or a vision of who you're trying to become, that change, however difficult it is, you will be able to lean into it because you can see, you will have an intrinsic motivation and energy emerge. So energy comes from within you. It's being facilitated because you have your eye on the goal, right? You have your eye on the prize. Now, where this might go like wary is if you're not connected to a sense of purpose or I guess a clear vision of who you want to become, right? It's very easy to get burnt out. That's exactly where burnout comes because you don't have internal energy sustaining you. You're going to have to look for the external validation and it's just not going to be enough. You see? So that is, you're not going to have the drive to actually take you there. You're going to constantly feel lost. You're going to constantly feel like this change is a detriment to you. And you do have to ask that question, is this change that I'm going through right now worth the suffering? Because you're going to go through suffering, right? Like life has this aspect where it's going to push you and it's going to challenge you, right? Like I think Elizabeth Gilbert, she's the one that says like, which shit sandwich do you want to eat? Because you're gonna have to eat the shit sandwich.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But it's tied into this larger version you know, then you have the energy to be able to sustain it.
Mm. Right, right. That's a good one. I remember when I was much younger, I thought my purpose is dance. And then I got older and I realized that my purpose is using dance to reach out to people, to be the bridge between people through dance, and to make sense of this world with each other through dance. And that, like, I think, like, having that shift of dance and viewing dance as that completely helped me to really push through to doing what I do now, and now with you too, you know. So yeah, I totally agree, because there will be shit times, right? And it will feel like shit, and you're like, why am I doing this? I'm supposed to be doing what I love and my passion, but it's not always gonna be like sunshine and butterflies, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you for sharing that. You see, you're
Mm.
an embodiment of it. Like you're living, breathing that information, which is so important.
Mm.
So important for the people who come and learn with you, who are in your classes. You don't need to say a word, but if you hold that energy, it's giving them permission already, you know?
Mm, mm, mm,
And
mm.
the other thing that got sparked as you were speaking is there's another component that you can look at when it comes to change that people may be struggling with, because in order for you to change, there's got to be a loss of something. In order for you to move towards something else, you're changing, there's automatically going to be a loss of something, right? So
Mm.
sometimes people struggle with that change, not because of the change itself, but what the change implies. You know, they can actually make the change, but they might not want to lose the friends. They might not want to
Mm.
lose the level of comfort they have in their life. You know, they
Mhm.
might not want to lose the level of maybe financial security.
Mm,
So
mm, mm,
get really honest about why exactly is this change, you know, knocking you off center, you know, because I really do believe that as much as this world is moving incredibly fast and it's changing at rapid paces, you are a part of this world. You are
mm,
literally a part of this nature. So you have that same capacity within you, you know? It's just getting rid of the blocks that come around you and trust that that
mhm,
change is going to facilitate a deeper experience of yourself and a hell of a lot more resilient
mm,
personality behind it, you know?
mm, mm,
Mm.
mm. That's wonderful. I think this links very well to the next question, which is, how does one feel more self-assured when making decisions without seeking external justification? And how do you manage the stress of overcoming the need for perfection? And I feel like this question is so linked to the first question too.
Yes,
Mm.
you're so right. So right. Okay. So when you said external justification, can I just clarify? External justification, you're also saying as external validation,
Yes.
right? Anything from the outside that you're looking
Hmm.
for? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So decision making. So the question is about decision making and perfectionism, right? And how
Yes.
do we tie that in? Let's break down perfectionism first.
Okay.
Here's the first thing to understand about perfectionism. If you have an issue or a struggle around perfectionism, you are having an identity crisis, because anybody who is a perfectionist, and hello, who's guilty of that? You know, you're coming from a background where the way you were was not accepted. You were always trying to look for validation, and your strategy, your coping mechanism for life was to put on these different masks. Oh, this one likes this, I'm going to be this. This one likes that, I'm going to be that. This one likes this, I'm going to be this. So after a while in life, you start to collect all these different masks that you put together as a compilation that you're calling your personality, right?
Ooh.
This personality is based on all these masks, right, that have really nothing to do with your authentic self, but rather what other people want and expect from you. And that's always going to be changing. So you're never going to feel secure in your so-called perfectionism. And everyone's idea of what perfectionism even is so
Different.
different,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
so tailor-made to them.
Yeah.
And it's a scary place to be, because you know that the people who are interacting with you, people who so-called love you, they can't even love you. They have no access to who you really are. You see, they're having a relationship with your masks. You see? It's
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
pretty insane what we do. But so that's the first level to understand, right? The reason you're having issues with your decision making, now let me tie that full circle. If you have a personality that is built out of, I'm going to do this for this person and that for that person, it's already fractured, right? So you're always going to be this person one thing from you. How do I decide? You're stuck, right? So the only way to actually work through this is you have to acknowledge you have an identity crisis. You have to be willing to put in the work to actually unravel these different masks and get connected to that authentic self. But here's the pickle with this. People who are perfectionists, they are incredibly terrified of rejection and being hurt, right? That's why they got those masks to begin with. They didn't want to.
Oh no, I lost you for a minute.
So healing joke on it is they have to get
Sorry,
really in
Dhanya.
touch. Okay,
It was
okay.
cut off.
Just let me know.
We
That's all right.
cut off at fear of rejection.
Okay. So yes, the reason why it's a difficult, but not impossible, but challenging condition to kind of work with is because the fundamental thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to avoid feeling hurt, pain, and rejection. They can't, they don't want to feel that sense of rejection, right? So they have to be willing to actually see that their perfectionism is a self-protection mechanism. That's what it is, right? They try to protect themselves from getting hurt. But the long run of this is that they actually do end up getting hurt because no one really sees them. No one can really have a relationship with them. They don't know how to cultivate. They live with their own body, right? So they have to be willing to do the work to actually start feeling their own emotions again.
Oh no, I'm
I'm
sorry. I'm gonna cut you there. Sorry, Dhanya.
Yeah,
Connection is not great.
Stages, learn how to be a baby again. Like, I like this. It's okay.
Sorry, Dhanya. Okay, yes. You were saying that it was a blanket, security blanket to protect them, and then after that, it was just wonky onwards, the connection. My bad. Sorry.
Okay,
Could you repeat? I think it's so important. I really want everyone to hear this. Yes.
Absolutely. By the way, I didn't even use the word blanket, but I love that even more. I'm going to adopt it. So yes, it's like a security blanket. Right. It's
like what I took from
everything that you do. Sorry?
No, it was like what I took from it, right? The way I processed it was like, oh, it looks like a blanket.
Which is perfect. You're feeling it. You're feeling the authenticity of the words and you're creating your own image and experience around it, which is so important. You know, and now you're giving me something even more powerful to work with. You know, that blanket is so important. And I was a 30-year-old grown-ass adult traveling with my own blanket in public spaces. I used to do that because my level of anxiety was so strong that I couldn't travel like anywhere without my blankie and like a stuffed toy, you know, as an adult. And I just gave myself permission to do that. That was part of my unraveling of my perfectionism, you know. And it's really important for women to hear this. Women more than, you know, men. Men struggle with it, absolutely, but women more so because they're just expected to be everything and do everything, you know. And yeah, we have to start to loosen that, and the ways to really be willing to feel again, feel your emotions again. So I hope that that kind of answers the decision making and how it's related to perfectionism.
Wow, you took it like way back. Like, wow. It's like when I'm asking this question on behalf of anyone, and And we think it's this, but it's like you're like, oh, cool, and you like took it from this angle, like, "Oh, let's go back to let's break it down all the way back." Oh, that's so powerful, because that is the root of it, right? The identity crisis, and the willingness to allow you to feel. That is to me that the very powerful point, and an answer to this question: to feel, to allow to feel. I hope whoever's watching this is able to receive that. Um, yeah, yeah. All right, let's move on to the third question. This is interesting. When one has too much empathy towards others and take on too much, we might forget to be responsible and kind to ourselves. Is there a way to teach ourselves balance between empathy and self-love?
Okay, balance
Hmm.
between balance between empathy and self-love.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's begin by busting a myth right there, because the fundamental premise of the question is actually already asked from a faulty perception. So here, the empathy is put on one side, right? And self-love is put on the other side. And what the question is asking is, how do I balance these two things? Now, it's a really powerful question, right? Because most people think these two things are separate. Most people do. They're not. You cannot have genuine empathy without connecting to your self-love. They are one and the same things. So it's not a matter of balancing. It's a matter of actually acting with that self-love, and then you may have the capacity to behave with empathy. But empathy
Sorry.
is not actually
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there.
genuine and you have.
Oh,
It's
I'm so sorry. I feel like you're going in such a good flow. You're saying that
it's
self-love
probably
and empathy,
the
yeah,
weather connection.
the connection is not great.
Yeah, they appear to be different.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, we can wait it out. Just let it. Is it
Yeah,
clear
let's just,
again?
it's getting better, but I think we're still a little bit choppy.
We'll just wait.
Okay, come on, internet. Let's
All
go,
right.
internet.
I'm just waiting.
I think it's better now. Can you? We got it.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Oh.
I was speaking to the difference.
Hmm.
Is it okay? Ching, ching,
It's not
ching,
exactly
ching,
very
ching,
sync.
ching.
Okay, I think we're better. Yes, yes, you're in sync now.
Better? Okay.
Hmm.
So we were speaking to the difference of, or what we think, we assume is the difference between empathy and self-love, right? But what I'm proposing here is that we switch that perspective to understanding that true empathy can only come from self-love. They're one and the same. And if you are not come from a place of self-love, you are not practicing genuine empathy. What you
And you
practice
got
instead of validation or trying
now.
to please, coming from self, trying to please people around you. It's okay.
Okay. We could hear the important points that if it's not through self-love, it's the need to please. And Dhanya is stuck.
Authentic
Let's
self-love.
wait it out.
Then
Let's
what
wait it out. Hang on.
okay. No worries. All in good time.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's important to get that flow of energy of you speaking. You're saying that if it's not from a place of a merge of self-love and empathy, then
there's something else going on there. There's something else going on there that's not going to serve you. Because if you're doing it to people please, you're hurting yourself and you're hurting the other person. If you
Mm.
are doing it to be a martyr, right? Some people have this rescue complex. They need to go and save people, but you're not actually helping anyone when you do that. Instead of helping them, what you're teaching them is personal disempowerment, right? You're teaching them that, yeah, you are helpless. That's why I need to step in and help you at cost, great cost to myself, right? You're teaching, they're sending the wrong message. That's why empathy can only happen from a genuine space of self-love. You know, it cannot exist otherwise. There are too many other dynamics at play, you know, and when self-love is practiced, that looks like first you offering empathy to your own self, to your own experience, to your own needs. If you cannot be empathetic towards what it is that you truly need, how are you possibly going to be empathetic towards somebody else? You know, it is a deep personal practice first. You cannot give another person what you don't have. It's as simple as that.
Wow. So it's take care of yourself first before you're able to take care of others.
Yeah.
Is that
And
right?
reframe what you think about helping another person. What does it actually mean? Because I get, you know, people who are doing this, their intentions are really, they're good, right? A lot of them, they have the best of intentions. They're
Yeah.
trying to comfort the other person. They're trying to help them. But if you're not careful about where you're coming from, then let's say that friend who's constantly borrowing money from you will never learn how to be stable within themselves. They will never learn how to self-resource. You know, they will never learn, like, go get a job, go find those challenges that come with finding a job. Or if you don't want to find a job, find a way to change your lifestyle so that you don't need as much money. But if you keep loaning them money because you think, I have empathy for them, I have empathy for them at your cost, that's damaging both sides, you see. So you have to see it as an act of helping when you don't help.
Say that again. Act of helping? Of helping?
You have to reframe it so that you see it as when you see it as an act of help when you don't help.
Explain that.
So if I am not helping you because I know that helping you, so-called helping you this time, it's going to continue that victim mentality within you, that dependency within you, then I'm not actually helping you, I'm hurting you. So in this case, the helpful thing is actually not to help, is to say, I see you, I empathize with you, I feel your pain. That's true empathy. I'm here with you. I'm here with you. But it's not about a saving complex. You may or may not, depending on the situation, choose to help, but it'll look very different when you're coming from a place of, I need to be the savior for you, or I need to do this because I want you to like me. I really want you to like me. Like, that energy is detrimental in the long run. You know, you're never going to feel safe in your relationships. You see? Yeah. It's so interesting that your questions are all super connected to one another. They're actually so fundamentally connected to one another. It's really, you're asking so much about, like, you know, it's like a sense of, like, you've lost sense of your own self, and it's so much more about what others want from you and others need, and how are other people viewing things. And you know what I mean? Like, the fundamental thing here is, how do I learn how to be more intimate with my own self, to speak in powerful ways to myself, you know, to learn what it is that I need and honor that, you know, and validate it.
Yeah. Let's I think a lot of the issues that we have it's really stems from that, right? The root of it all is like really going inwards and finding out who we really are and what do we really need, and like what works for us and what doesn't work for us, and be okay with that. Yeah. You were talking about this thing called visualization. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Okay. So let's go from safe space, which is the science around it. I find it's usually quite useful to give people a little bit of context in that way, and they can get their left brain, their more masculine side, can relax and be like, okay, this is not like woo-woo stuff.
Right.
So scientifically, what's been proven is when you get into an altered state, it means you're more relaxed, right? And at the same time, you are focused, right? So you're having two dynamics there: intense focus as well as a relaxed state, right? So you're calling neurotransmitters like acetylcholine and dopamine into the play. And when you're in this state and you start to bring in visualization, you've primed your brain to be in the best space to learn information. Okay, so the first part of this visualization is when you're relaxed and at the same time focused, you're priming yourself, you're opening up yourself to be able to learn and remember, right? So the next thing about it is your brain cannot differentiate between what it sees in your mind's eye versus what it sees in reality. It registers both as real. Okay, that's why visualization and meditation is so powerful, because in this 3D physical world that we're in, we have a lot of limitations, and it's harder to push through. Whereas when we're in our mind's eye, the space that we go to is far more closer to a dream space, right? Like when you're dreaming, time and space doesn't actually exist. You think pink dinosaur, you can see pink dinosaur. It's like I'm flying, okay, I guess I'm flying. Like, anything is possible in that realm. So when you go into that kind of dream space, which is that meditative space, but bring your conscious awareness to guide that so-called dream space, you're able to do so much powerful healing work, you see, because I mean, if anyone does, I'm not sure if anyone in your community knows about lucid dreaming, but that's a really powerful state. That means you're conscious even in your dream state to be able to navigate your dreams and create whatever it is you want to, right? And most people are so excited when they get into a lucid dream, they're like playing with ponies or whatever, but it's really powerful if you do work, like work on your healing stuff.
Yeah.
You did?
Once. And I was like, whoa.
What did you do?
I will share with you in private.
That's fair. I'd love to hear it. Great.
I will take forever to explain, but yes, tell me more. Yes, lucid dreaming is so powerful.
Yes. So it's finding that most people don't have enough control over their life and their emotional state to be able to get into consistent spaces within lucid dreaming, right? So the way that we can hack this is through the meditative visualization process, right? So this is how we make incredible leaps within ourselves and our understanding and things like that. It's a space where we get to really see things from a different perspective. For example, in the visualization, I can say to you, like, you're the one that is observing, and yet you're also seeing yourself, and you can see yourself in different roles, in different ages, so all sorts of potentials become available to you. And when you genuinely shift an emotion or heal something in a visualization, the body registers it as real, like that really just happened. Your neurons are going to be having a new way of wiring and firing. And the more you practice this, you're creating more cohesiveness, more synchronicities, and that pathway becomes so easy. Like your brain recognizes the feat or the triumph that you've had in your visualization as that's just part of who you are right now. So that's why visualizations are so important. And in today's visualization, I thought it would be beneficial for us to actually practice a little bit of that self-soothing, just so that we're not just speaking, you and I are here, but I want for everyone in the community as well to have an experiential learning around what self-soothing is, right? So that would be a really cool thing to explore, I think.
Are there any simple ways or methods that you can guide us in self-soothing or self-soothing exercises?
Okay, well, the first thing I will do this during the visualization, actually. So you don't have to worry about it. I think, let me guide you within the visualization space, because
Okay.
I don't want you to get too heady. You know, if you go in there and you're trying to like remember things and all that, it actually takes process, right? The most important thing, like I said, remember your body needs to be really relaxed. Like that's key. So if you feel your head is starting to, you know, your mind is starting to talk to you about this and that, like get back to the breath, relax your body. Everything is fine. However this is showing up, it's fine. Just keep getting into that space, because you do so much better just trusting that whatever is happening for your best, right? And that includes if there are portions where, like earlier, we were having internet connection issues, right? So it's possible that when we do this visualization, we might have some internet connection issues. You don't hear something, that's really okay. You were not meant to hear it, right? That wasn't for you. Just trust. Join back where you can. You know, and since I can see you, but not so much the audience, if you would like, you know, if you can't hear anything that I'm saying, all you need to do when you're in this space is just put your hands up, but don't come out of the space. Just like, and I'll know, okay, I'll take a little break. Connection is a little wonky, but I just want to assure, you know, everyone else that this, just trust the process. It's okay. Everything that's happening is perfect as is. Is there anything else that you'd like to know before going into the process?
No, that's all. I'm good. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to be mindful of the time. I know you've given me an hour, so I'll make it a slightly shorter meditation, but we'll get the good stuff in there. Okay?
Yeah, we can exceed a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is bring attention to the way that you're sitting. You want to have your spine erect. You want to feel really solid and grounded within the chair, right? So adjusting yourself where necessary. If you feel you need to move any body parts, like really just try to get yourself as comfortable as possible so you're not worried about shifting once the experience starts. So next, I want you to bring attention to your breath, making sure you have your eyes closed and that your eyes remain closed for the entire process. This will really allow you to remain focused on your internal journey. If you hear any sounds on the outside, like cars passing, if you hear fans, air condition, use it all to guide you deeper into your breath. You're going to use every single sound stimulation as part of your process in moving you deeper and deeper into your being. I want you to put your attention on your breath. This is your primary ally as you move through this journey. I want you to notice your breath. You're not doing anything to alter it in any shape, way, or form. You're merely observing it with a sense of curiosity. Notice if your breath is deep, shallow. Is it moving in some sort of symphony? Just notice. Notice if you can feel the quality of your breath. For example, the air as you inhale may be slightly cooler than when you exhale, where it's warmer having been in your body. See if you can really notice the small little nuances. Notice the interaction now between your breath and the rest of your body. How does the breath inform the way your chest, your shoulders, your diaphragm, your stomach, even down movement this space. Now with own conscious mind, you're going to direct your awareness through your breath to all parts of your body, so that any part that feels contracted, stiff in any way, you're going to use your breath to just melt these spaces, creating even more room and expansion within yourself. With every inhalation, there is energy and focus. And with every exhalation, there's even more profound, deep relaxation. You're melting and melting and melting. Notice the spaciousness, the expansion that's available through your breath. I'm going to count back from 5. And by the time I count to 1, you're going to find yourself in an incredibly alert yet relaxed space. 5. Breathing in and out. 4. 3. 2. Finding yourself relaxed in 1. Beautiful. From within this space of expansion, I want you to place your focus now in between your eyebrows, a place where we call the third eye. It's in the center of your skull. Land somewhere in there that feels like your center. And from this space, I want you to imagine as if there is a giant projector screen that has emerged in front of you. There's nothing yet on this projector, but it's huge. It's like a personal movie is playing in front of you. The movie hasn't started yet, but you're just noticing. Now I'm going to ask you a question that's going to evoke an emotional response and perhaps a visual, an experience, or a memory that is tied in to that initial question. I want you to see that experience or memory on that projector screen. Here's the question. What is it that you cannot forgive yourself for? Staying connected to your breath. What is it that you cannot forgive yourself for? Allow the emotions, allow the visualization. Don't effort. This is not about efforting. Allow the image or the memory to surface and watch it in front of you. I want you to notice what is happening around this memory or experience. See if you can tune into the details. Make it as visceral as possible. Start noticing the environment. Is it night, day? Where are you? In a room? Outside? Get into the details. Can you pick up any scents? Are you smelling anything? Really get yourself solidly in this space. Staying connected to the observer within you, that is the one who is looking at the projector screen. You're now looking at yourself in a memory where you felt that you could not forgive yourself for either something you did, something you put someone else through. Thoughts that has been feeding this memory about what you did, how you did it, why you shouldn't have done it. Start to notice those really erosive, discordant, painful thoughts, the critical voice, as it is moving inside of that experience. Become acutely aware of that narrative and what that narrative and thought is doing to your physical body in that experience. Notice if you feel sick, repulsed, ashamed, cowering, head low. Notice what those thoughts are doing to your physical body. Remembering to stay connected to your breath. Every single emotion that you feel in here is valid, and the only way it's going to move is through your presence and your breath, allowing for it to emerge. Witnessing, allowing. Now we're going to do something radical here. I want you to freeze the frame of this experience. And I want you to imagine your adult self showing up inside of this memory. Now, for some of you, you might not want to bring in your adult self. You might want to bring in a guardian angel, a teacher, a superhero. You can bring in Buddha or Jesus. You can bring in anyone that you feel has the capacity, the empathy, and the love. But ideally, it is your adult self as you are here today. Now, looking back at the memory, here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine wherever you are experiencing this, however old you are, I want you to start imagining that you're shrinking in size and you're starting to become really small. Really small. You go through your teenage years and it's like you're 7, 6, 5 years old. See yourself as a 5-year-old in this experience, hearing the words that she's hearing and how painful it is for her. Now I want you to bring your adult self in. And I want you to validate this child's experience. This is the time to recognize the pain that you are in. And I want you to practice speaking to yourself in a way that is loving, kind, compassionate, in a way you should be speaking to yourself, as if you were only a 5-year-old. The first thing you want to do is to validate the experience, to say, I see your pain. I see you, I'm right here with you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you feel this way. You're doing really well. Nothing's gone wrong. You're just learning. It's really okay. I would be this upset if I were you too. This validating yourself. Now, if you feel instinctually that you would like to hold or stroke or bend down and look your inner child in their eyes, please do that. Do whatever feels most natural for you. When you're seeing this part of you, this child of you in pain, how would you soothe the child? Do that. And really witness how your child is interacting with you. Notice how she might feel relief in her body. Somebody's seeing her. Not judging her. You're doing really well. Really well. Any intensity of emotion you're feeling, any tears, these are powerful, powerful healing mechanisms. Allow yourself to stay. Keep affirming, I'm right here with you. I am not going anywhere. I am right here with you. Now, this memory is present because you had a need for something, but that need didn't get met. So I want you to ask yourself now, what is that need and what can you give yourself in this moment? Find a way to meet that need. Sometimes it's just words. And if that's the case, do that. I love you. I know who you truly are. I know what you truly meant. This doesn't make you bad. Learn how to offer those words to yourself. And you will know it's working because you will feel genuine compassion, relief. Really good. Now, whatever it is that you needed, I hope you found a way to meet it, either through your words or through an experience. And for those of you who feel, I haven't quite gotten there yet, remember that this entire experience is happening between you and you. You can never lose yourself, so you can always come back to this space. You can always find new and meaningful ways to connect with yourself. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds more to kind of just tie this experience in, to find your space of relief. That's the feeling you're going for. It doesn't have to be ecstatic, it doesn't have to be blissful, all this stuff. Just it should feel like an exhalation. Give yourself permission to forgive your own self. You're the only one that can do it. In about 10 seconds, I'm going to ask you to kind of dissolve this memory and step back. I want you to just notice anything else that might be meaningful to you, perhaps a perspective you didn't see before when the experience happened. Just notice. These may become relevant to you in the days that pass, make more sense to you then. Now, using your breath, I want you to invite yourself back to the central character who was viewing everything on the projector. Now you have a choice. That little child that you saw on the projector, you have a choice to bring that child with you in your central character or allow it to move in that memory. And just imagine it disappear or fly away or pop, however you feel to do it. You can do that. But ask yourself if this child would like to come and be within you, remain with you, so that you can take care of it. And if she says yes, that's really good. If she says she wants to go on the memory, that's okay to allow for whatever she wants. She's the boss. In this memory space, she's the boss. So let her use. And for those who have chosen to let the memory go, watch it dissolve and watch that projector screen slowly collapse in front of you as well. You can choose to have it dissolve. Anything that feels good to you. And for those of you who've chosen for her to enter your space, I really want you to take 3 very conscious breaths and imagine that her energy, her light body is literally, with every breath that you're taking, you are inhaling her into your system, making it safe, allowing her to just sit right in there, sending her those loving messages of, I'm right here with you. It's safe to be here with me. I will take care of you. We're going to do better. I'm going to learn. Thank you for trusting me. These are all beautiful words to offer her. And really what you're doing is offering it to yourself. Now you should feel at the point where she merges with you completely, a real deep sense of either relief or there's just ease in your body. Yeah, it's okay to feel a little tired. That also can happen when you do an integration like this. Absolutely normal. I'd like you to just affirm to yourself, this is a good place to do affirmation. I'd like you to affirm to yourself, you've done really well. This has been a beautiful experience of experiencing myself in a new way. I'm so grateful my subconscious allowed me to see what I saw. And now, because I know better, I will do better. Most importantly, thank yourself. Just thank yourself. And whenever you're ready, using the breath as your portal out, the way you came in, starting to pay attention to it even more and more, taking deeper breaths. You're going to start feeling the physicality. You're going to start feeling your shoulders, your chest, your pelvic area, where your bottom meets the chair. If you're sitting on the ground, feel the ground. Slowly start to bring your consciousness more and more and more into your physical reality. If you need to adjust, shift, move your body, stretch, please do that. If you need to get a tissue, if you need to get water, this is a really good time to do that. You're going to slowly open your eyes. Don't jar yourself out of this experience. Just really stay connected to your breath, and by flickering your eyes slowly, you can welcome yourself back into this room and back into this space.
Ooh. Did not
Take a moment.
expect this. I should have known better. I should have had tissues here, not wear this color that you can see. Oh, you can't really see my tears.
You look beautiful, and when you cry, you look even more beautiful. So nothing is, I mean, you win either way.
Thank you. I have a swollen eye, and it's a perfect day for a swollen eye because you can't see anything of like the effects of me crying in this session. You can't see it because I have a swollen eye. Whew. Wow.
How are you doing, honey?
I'm just gonna reach for a tissue right there. I am
Please.
I feel relieved. I feel relieved. Yeah, I feel like uh, I feel like I can take care of her. Yeah, and then
You can?
I can take care of her, and yeah, I can take care of her, and we're gonna be okay. And we're gonna be okay.
Yes! Yes, you are. That's so good. That's so good.
Wow. She came with me.
You,
Yeah,
she came with
me.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did. She did. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So we're gonna be okay. We're gonna.
Was she initially hesitating?
Sorry. Sorry.
Was she? Would you like to speak a little bit about? Would you like to speak a little bit about the process, whatever you want to share? Only like, how did you experience her initially? Was she kind of standoffish, or
Uh,
did it feel natural?
I think it was strange when I first met her. It was strange because um I think she didn't expect it, and she didn't know what she really felt. Uh, which like she didn't know how to process what was happening at that point. And then when those memories came up, it felt like I think I didn't forgive myself for walking away. But she was a child; she didn't know how to. Um, yeah. So when I was with her, uh, she was relieved that I was there. And when it came to a point of to choose whether to stay or leave, there was um, she was hesitant at first, but almost immediately it was I'm coming with you, and yeah, and that was nice because I know I can take care of her now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's so powerful. Thank you so much for fully immersing yourself in the
Oh,
process. You really
thank
did. You
you.
trusted the process, and it's amazing what will come up when you allow it. And they are so intelligent. You know, these inner children that you have in there, they know so much. They carry so much information about the full story of who you are. And that's how you become more and more authentic in this world. You have hundreds of inner children you haven't met, you know? You have to
Yeah.
keep doing that work. And the
Yeah.
more you do this, you know how you felt like either a cheche or a mom to this little girl?
Yeah.
That feeling of like, I got you. I'm here
Yeah.
with you. Let's figure this out. Like that energy is what is going to translate into your day-to-day relationships. You know, you become that for your own self. It's like, come on, we're doing this. Like, and it's not forceful. It's just this deep sense of like, I see you. I know
Yeah.
you. You know?
Yeah.
Really good.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for this session. It was so powerful. It was so just so much weight of me. I think the realization of what I was really feeling was very important to me, and to be able to have the child come with me was everything. So thank you so much, Dhanya, for being you and being here with me, and really really giving and sharing these tools and this importance of being in tune with yourself. And yeah, I've learned so much
Yeah.
from you today. I really, really appreciate you.
I
Oof.
feel you so deeply. I know it's difficult for you to find words right now as you're giving
Yeah.
so much. So I really don't want to make your life difficult too. So just say, I have been so grateful. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for introducing me to your beautiful community. Thank you for being willing enough to have me participate in this beautiful day for women across the world. I feel very grateful, and I hope this won't be the last. You know,
I
wishing you
know.
all so much love.
Yes,
Have a
yes,
great
yes.
day ahead. You have so many amazing
Thank
women
you.
lined up.
I have so much. But before we end this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this and if you would like to have a session with Dhanya, she's been super kind to offer a discount for us, 100 ringgit discount off her usual rate. So if you would like to contact her directly, you can reach her on Instagram at mydivinelife.me. Am I right? Let me write. Yes, mydivinelife.me.
Divine Life. That's the one. Yeah.
Yes.
Or you can reach me on Facebook as well. That should be
Yes.
okay. Otherwise, you can get in touch with you guys, and however, whatever is easiest. Yeah.
Yes, you can definitely reach out to us too, and we can direct you straight to Dhanya. What a wonderful session, Dhanya. Thank you so much for being here today. Whew.
Absolutely.
We need to, we will speak after. But ladies and gentlemen, next up is Donna's grind intro. It's a dance class. I think it's perfect if you did this session with us. The next session is for you to really get in tune with yourself and who you are and dance. Yes? All right. Whew. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, happy International Women's Day. My name is Maybelline. I forgot for a minute, like who are you? My name is Maybelline.
That's a good sign.
Maybelline's feeling great. For a minute, she kind of like, ooh. This is Dhanya. Thank you for being here with us. We hope that this was an insightful session for you. If you have more questions, please reach out to us or to Dhanya. If not, we hope that you have a beautiful rest of the day celebrating yourself and women around you. Thank you so much. My name is Maybelline. Thank you, Dhanya. See ya.
Bye. Thank
Love
you.
you. Whew. Okay.